Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Opposition leader Philip Brave Davis weighs in on the recent developments at BPL.
The Attorney General shed some light on proposed changes to the immigration laws.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Topping news tonight, proposed new immigration laws expected to make major changes that could impact many born in the Bahamas to foreign parents. Under these new laws, those who fail to apply for citizenship by their 19th birthday would lose that right and could be deported. Jillian Gray has more.
Attorney General Carl Bethel said the proposed changes to the immigration laws will address some long-standing issues and bring about a more efficient system.
What the bill seeks to do is to clarify the law. There's been, since the last Immigration Act was passed many years ago, there have been many developments in the common law, in the decisions made by the courts, which this bill hopefully will capture at the end of the day. Of course, it's out for consultation. There may be further changes.
Now, under this new law, anyone who fails to apply to be registered as a citizen by their 19th birthday would lose that right and would have 6 months after the law takes effect to apply for some form of status or risk being deported or jailed for up to 2 years. The AG said he understands that the time frame may not sit well with some human rights groups.
You know, one of the groups being consulted is the Haitian Pastors Association. May have something to say about that period of 6 months. They may want it longer, but you know, it stands to reason. If someone had 18 years to make up their mind at the age of 18 to apply for Bahamian status, which the Constitution would have given them, and failed to do so, it may raise a question.
The Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Bill 2018 is intended to fix the problem of statelessness and the rights of Bahamians to pass on their citizenship. The new law establishes a right to live in the Bahamas for anyone born in the Bahamas to foreign parents while they are a minor, pointing to the fact that over the years the Bahamas has signed on to international conventions. Bethel said this bill seeks to clarify the law and provide a proper legal framework.
Merely passing a law is not going to stop the ceaseless assaults upon our sovereignty by basically economic migrants. Economic migrants do not qualify for asylum, and when they break our law by entering the Bahamas unlawfully, the bill will just provide a more modernized framework and greater clarity as to those circumstances where a person may be returned to their home country by lawful process or summarily.
The bill would also remove the power of citizenship decisions from Cabinet by establishing an immigration board to be appointed by Cabinet. The bill also broadens the reasons for refusal of citizenship. The Nationality, Immigration and Asylum Bill was drafted by the Law Reform Commission, headed by Dame Anita Allen. The AG said they will not push forward until Dame Anita and her team are through consulting all stakeholders.
The list of entities to be consulted with is very long. From, of course, the political entities in the country to all civil society groups that could be thought of, trades unions, human rights groups, you name it. What we hope at the end of the day is that we will have a workable bill that can become a law that will provide greater certainty, greater fairness, and at the end of the day lead to improvements in our ability to deal with offenders against the immigration law.
The Attorney General could not say how long the consultation period will last. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
All is not right at Bahamas Power and Light, according to Progressive Liberal Party leader and former Works Minister Philip Brave Davis, who says the abrupt departure of BPL's Chief Operations Officer Christina Allison is proof that something stinks at the power company. Jasmine Brown reports.
Davis says he isn't exactly surprised by what's happening at BPL, as he says there's clearly something wrong at the company.
It is clear for such an abrupt departure, that something smells. We just need to know what it is that's smelling. And that's why I raised the issue about her today. And
our news team obtained an internal email from Chief Executive Officer Whitney Hasty, who on Saturday advised some employees of Alston's leave. Save for its confirmation of the matter, BPL said it has no further comment. Davis says Alston's departure is proof that the company continues to experience upheaval with its executive team, even months after the government appointed an entirely new board in August 2018.
I've been shocked so often over the last 2 years. I'm becoming immune to it. You could expect it's sad and it's frightening. We all ought to be concerned about these developments in our country.
Davis' comments came a day after former BPL Executive Chairman Darnell Osborne said in a statement on Monday that she was surprised and deeply saddened to learn of Alston's resignation. Osborne noted that Alston had a hands-on approach and was known to work in the field with her teams at a moment's notice to observe, advise, and revise procedures if warranted. The former board was made up of Osborne, Nick Dean, Nicola Thompson, Patrick Rollins, Ferran Bethel, and BPL CEO Whitney Hasty. Osborne, Thompson, and Dean are suing the government. Davis says in addition to those legal issues, he's also concerned about BPL's recent deal with Finnish technology group Wärtsilä for the installation of a new multi-million-dollar power plant constructed at BPL's Clifton Pier site.
I also raised the issue of the Shell Wärtsilä transaction, which seemed to be at the heart and root of much of the challenges.
Davis produced a letter he wrote to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis on March 12, informing the PM of his concerns over the deal. To date, he says he has not received a response. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Well, it's been 2 weeks since the government's two-day meeting with Oban Energies to amend the heads of agreement for the multi-billion-dollar oil refinery and storage facility on Grand Bahama. Labor Minister Dion Fowlkes told reporters that while progress has been made, the government is still awaiting a response from Oban Energies.
I prefer not to comment on that at this point. I've not briefed Cabinet on the talk, so until I get a full report and brief Cabinet on it and get instructions from Cabinet, that's as far as I could go at this point.
Fowlkes, who co-chairs the Cabinet subcommittee on the Oban deal, shying away from questions over whether Oban Energies was receptive to changes government put forward for an amended heads of agreement. It's been just over a year since questions arose over the controversial heads of agreement signing for the $5.5 billion oil refinery and storage facility for Grand Bahama. From environmental concerns to its economic impact, there has been a lot left to explain over the project. And after the two sides met behind closed doors last week, the Labor Minister says there's still a lot left to be figured out.
We are awaiting a full response from Oban with respect to the economic issues. They have not indicated when that response will come. And I do not want to give the people of Bahamas or the press a time frame until I can ascertain exactly what the timetable is.
Following those meetings, Oban President Alexander Grachidis told the media that government requested that Oban make some changes, but didn't go into detail. The Prime Minister admitted last year that government made a few missteps with the deal in its haste to boost the economy of Grand Bahama. Still no word as to what exactly government wishes to change. Meanwhile, government also awaits a full report from its negotiation team. The Labor Minister insists things are moving along well.
Significant progress was made on some of the environmental issues and some of the legal issues with respect to the heads of agreement.
Members of the Bahamas Utility Services and Allied Workers Union are once again calling for Water and Sewage Chairman Adrian Gibson to be axed. The union has advised its members to withdraw their enthusiasm and is even alleging that the corporation's headquarters has been bugged. Jared Higgs reports.
Water and sewage workers spending the early part of the morning on Tuesday outside, some of them playing dominoes, as they say. One of their members was unfairly suspended for leaving a vehicle at work over the weekend. Joined by members of the corporation's managerial union and with uniformed police looking on, Busabu President Dwayne Woods told reporters his workers were withdrawing their enthusiasm after an employee was suspended for 5 days without pay for leaving a vehicle on the corporation's compound over the weekend.
CV to wait. So we at work, but we just withdraw our enthusiasm. We're not happy to work.
Woods says in punishing the employee, executive management used an incorrect breach of discipline and an unwritten unknown policy.
The union requested to see the policy that the corporation has said was breached, but it could not be produced. An executive was arrested in a strip club and received no penalty. Now our member is being suspended for 5 days for a minor matter.
Meanwhile, managerial union president Ednal Roll claims that executive management aren't taking concerns that water and sewage offices are bugged with listening devices seriously.
He's actually refused to bring in the police. So, as a manager, you have to be suspicious. What's going on? You should be police there over there. They call the police for a legal, lawful demonstration by members, but they can't call the police to confirm or deny an illegal activity.
Water and Sewerage Chairman Adrian Gibson has described those bugging fares as baseless and absolutely false. With union members voicing their support for Gibson's removal, Woods also alleged that the corporation's promotional exercises were based on nepotism.
Females, employees, are being promoted for sexual favors.
When contacted for comment, Gibson described Woods' claims as absolute nonsense, lies, and defamatory. He added that the corporation's general manager would respond at the appropriate time. Labour Minister Dion Fowkes told reporters outside Cabinet that he was not officially aware of the issue, except for what appeared in the press.
The Director of Labour, Mr. John Pinder, is directly speaking to both sides.
Woods acknowledged that his union has not obtained a strike certificate and that it has matters before the Labour Board being adjudicated. Gibson and Woods have had a tumultuous relationship since the Long Island MP took the reins at the Waterworks Company. In a recent war of words, Gibson claimed that Woods was being paid a $60,000 a year salary while on administrative leave and despite not having done a day of work in years. After being instructed to return to work, Woods explained his prolonged absence, saying he was given time off by a doctor due to stress and was subsequently taking vacation until the end of February. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Opposition leader Philip Davis hopes to table an interim Public Accounts Committee report in the House of Assembly as early as next week.
The report that has been adopted by the majority is ready. The opposition, the government member, has indicated that he wants to consider putting in a minority report. So he's been given the opportunity to consider whether he would do that. We will meet on the 8th of April to formally adopt the report.
Davis says if that meeting happens on Monday, then the committee will look to table the report at the House of Assembly's next sitting. Davis has previously expressed a desire to investigate the more than $1 billion the government spent in the first 6 months of the 2017-2018 fiscal year. In other news, 4 people are still in hospital after that major accident at the Grand Bahama shipyard yesterday that injured 8. East Grand Bahama MP Peter Turnquist said this disaster caused a substantial loss, adding that while work has slowed down, managers have assured that they will try to retain as much employment as possible.
This is a significant loss for them, as this is the primary dock for the cruise ship work that they do. They do have 2 other dry docks that will continue in operation, and in fact they have some ongoing works now that will recommence this morning, and they will also be able to do work alongside the pier for works that can be done in that way. There is anticipated to be some slowdown in the amount of work that they can manage, but they do have a commitment to continue forward and to maintain as much of the employment as they can.
The Health and Safety Act, which is administered by the Department of Labor, ensures that there are international health and safety standards at all sites in the Bahamas. Labor Minister Dion Fowkes said his ministry ensured that inspectors were on site.
We have trained inspectors in Freeport that were at the site yesterday. There were 3 inspectors from the Department of Labor in Freeport that were at the briefing session and that also got information. I got preliminary information over the telephone, but I have not received a full report.
Still to come, a former Chamber of Commerce president talks WTO accession. Stay tuned.